The Daylight C1 is neat, but a bit confusing. I went to the Daylight post-launch party this week and I wanted one main question answered. Who is this $729 device for? This device is advertised as a tablet that can be used outdoors or in the dark so that you can bring your work with you while you're sitting outside at the park or in nature or in a dark bedroom. The screen is also 60 frames per second, so annotation should be smooth. It's definitely the easiest tablet to scribble on, that's not an iPad, and it's easy to annotate things while reading. It comes with a Wacom stylus as well, and you can use the back to erase your writing. Apple Pencil can learn something from this. The technology is new, and the annotation part is a huge reason why you should get excited for this. The room of the office at the party was dark-ish, pretty vibey, so it was a pretty decent setup to see how it affected my eyesight. Good news, it didn't feel straining to look at the screen the whole evening. There's two brightness settings on the tablet, one for the amber light and the other one for the overall brightness of the screen, and I found myself turning the amber light a little bit up while I was in the darker part of the office. The lead software engineer told me that the screen is anti-flicker and is amber colored, and that benefits your health because anti-flicker means less fatigue and amber colored screen leads to improved circadian rhythm. And I'm telling you this because a lot of his devices sell is around the user's health as well. Daylight is obsessed with making a device that benefits the user, and health is a huge part. To be honest, I don't care about this part at all. But I met someone at the party that had pre-ordered the device in December because he's tired of eye strain from staring at the screen. So I honestly love to see that this product's intent met a user. My wife also accompanied me, and she's a researcher and she reads a lot and annotates a lot, and she felt that this device needs some sort of color on the screen because a lot of times color can bring a lot of context to what's being explained in a paper. The lead software engineer at Daylight explained that they were looking into a shader method to bring color to this device, which is awesome. It seems like they're seeking feedback like this from users. Before we move forward, do me a favor and subscribe if you want to see more startup videos. Now, the confusing part was the software. The C1 is built on Android, and I believe it's a launcher. It has a regular Play Store, so people around the office were downloading software all over the place to test the device out. It seems like they had multiple devices floating around, so I'm not sure if I was interacting with the most up-to-date version, but I kept asking myself, is that supposed to be this rigid just to prevent me from swiping up and getting distracted? Remember, this device is also supposed to make you more productive. In my time with a device, I found the software a little bit hard to navigate around. Doing a simple action like swiping up to exit felt a little bit less responsive than what I'm used to. It was not that big of a deal once I entered an app like Reader.
Oh, wait, what?
So I still wanted my first question answered. Who is this device for? Part of it is for the health conscious that wants to avoid eye strain, but I wanted to hear more. So I asked someone from the marketing team, and he told me that it's a new category of product. It's a smarter piece of paper. It allows you to write, take notes, draw, read, and AI can come in to assist more down the line. So I get the paper part. The AI was only available in the form of ChatGPT in this device so far. So still left a little bit confused as to what do I do with this besides reading and annotating. And the company itself is still figuring out that question as well. Other members of the software team were pretty honest that they're still looking for feedback from users to make it more useful to whoever they're catering to. They also think that this Android launcher will get replaced by custom software at some point, and they're even planning to test this device out with a group of early users to back up their health claims. So I had this question of who this is for, mainly because of the price tag. At $729, the only difference you're paying for between this and a Kindle is the high refresh rate and the flexibility to write anywhere. At $739, you can also wonder whether the impact of the screen is really affecting you this much, or you feel better off opting for an iPad that you can get for $300 less. Existing Kindle users at the party were actually wondering whether the compromise of weight, size, and price justified this new product, when they could still live with their existing devices, which I also thought was really interesting. However, this is not a grift from the company. This company is filed as a public benefit corporation, and the industrial designer of the product explained why this costs so much.
Oh, somebody asked, what would it take to bring down the price? It is really expensive. It's $729. That's like, I don't know how much does an iPad cost? I think an iPad, the lower level iPads cost less than that. So that's kind of a hard sell, right? It's like, why does this thing cost so much money? It's economies of scale. If you have 10,000 of something made, the price per unit is going to be much higher than if you get 10 million of something made. For Apple, they can sell devices for super cheap. For us, we don't really have that advantage because, they're just like this little indie startup.
So basically, buying the Daylight C1 comes with the understanding that you're buying a product from a startup that's still figuring things out. You might care a lot about the mission of a startup and your health, but the price tag is more of a vouch that you want the startup to succeed down the line. And there's nothing wrong with this. Someone could say, oh, you could have said the same thing about Humane. Well, to that, I would say that Daylight also spent 6 to 7 years building this thing, like Humane, but the high refresh rate of a screen is something that actually has value. The flexibility of annotation allows for a new user experience that's very un-Kindle-like, while still bringing the benefits of a Kindle. I think that the most exciting part of a Daylight C1 might be the health benefits long-term that a user might face, and they might then go and recommend this to other people, like their friends, or gift it to someone who's still in college. Let me know what you think of this first impressions of the C1, and let me know if you'd actually get one.